Layouts for details. In this video, we will describe what is a layout, how to create one, what do you need in your layout, and the proper location to save your layouts. A layout is basically the intersection of two details, the horizontal details and the vertical details. It will help us to understand the logic of our break shape or sun shape or steel part. A proper layout can help us to understand the logic of the fab, if any notch is required, or any dimension for the part. Most part of the layout should be confirmed with the dice part and the reference lines. The proper location to save your layouts, it's if you go to Project, Folder, under Drafting, Takeoff, Panel Group, Break Shape Show Views. Remember to use this location to save your CAD layouts. These layouts are a very powerful tool to understand the proper way to create our fabs. It is important to create a layout for each single part that we are working on it. Let's get started and see an example on how to create a layout. In the previous video, we defined the panel scope, highlighting all the parts that it's included into our project. In this example, we see a sun-shaped bracket already highlighted. We are going to use our panel scope to identify where this horizontal detail is intersecting. If we use 505 detail and we look at the elevation, we will notice like detail 505 is intersecting with detail 553. So those two details are going to be my layout reference. What I'm going to do is I go to the proper location for the details. And if I go to under Drafting, Drawings, I will copy 505 and 553, and I will save those into the location previously mentioned: Drafting, Takeoff, Panel Group, and Break Shape Show Views. Now I need to open those and create a layout. I will copy this view with the command copy, clip, select the details, hit enter. And if I go to the vertical, I can paste it using Ctrl B in AutoCAD. Once that I have this, I don't need my 553, so I don't need to save anything there. So I go back to my location for my break shapes layout. I can delete it. I will rename this later according with the name of the part or the break shape I'm creating. For now, let's gonna start creating our layouts. If I have a vertical detail here, or a horizontal, you can create a reference line using the dimension point. So I'll change the color for magenta. You can choose the color that you consider appropriate. We don't have a color code on those conditions. So now I'm gonna rotate these vertical views to align it with my part. So if I rotate those and select the dimension point as a reference, I'm gonna create my line reference. So as you can see, all details now are referenced into the dimension point. Now, it is important to define the part in all the dimensions. How do we do it? Basically, we copy this line here and we just move it into the beginning of the part. I'll change the color to red. So I make sure this line is touching the edges of all the details here. I'm making a straight line. There you go. And as you can see, those dimensions are correct in the front. I'll do the same with the back. Into here. And now I see everything is aligning. Perfect. Finally, like in this condition, I will need to create a holes layout for the bolts. So one proper way to do it, it's copy the same lines, change the color for a green, and just verify if like all holes and all details are aligning or matching in all views. As you can see, that's good. I'll do the same with this hole here. And do the same for holes here. This bracket and this one here, because that bracket requires one hole. So as you can see, those lines are correct in the positions and it's matching all the details. With that in mind, I can now understand the notches of my part, how long it's going to be, and the direction of my holes locations. Like in this example, I'm creating a sunshade bracket. So as we will see later in a video, you need to create the dimensions from the back of the part to the location of your holes. So if I'm working in a fab later, I will create these dimensions from the back to the holes center location. This examples I'm using fractional dimension, but it's important when you're working on sunshade brackets to use decimal units just to verify and be precise on your dimensions. As we previously discussed in this video, it is important to verify that with your dice folder or dice part. The way to find it, it's I need to find or identify first of all, what is the name of the part. So if I go here, I will notice like I'm using a sunshade bracket, call it W75 5646. Oh, well, that's for the other part. I'm sorry. Oh, this is the part. So the name of the bracket is W75 5696. This is the name of the part of the bracket. So I need to find a die and the part. So if I go to AutoCAD, I can go to drafting and go to the parts library and click here on the part below. So let's go to import first the die. If I click on parts dive and type W75 5696, I have the part. What I'm gonna do, it's just paste it here, mirror, and then move it just to verify that I'm using the right part into my details and it's matching. You can change the color just to verify like I'm really using the right part into my details, and that is correct. Now it's time to import the dice drawings. So again, I go back to parts library, but this time so I'm going to use the dice part. And I do the same. I just make sure that I'm using Western in this case, and I use W75 5696. So there you go. I use this one here. So I can verify like nothing changed from the day that it was released, and all the dimensions are matching with my details like this. For example, I have from the back to the first hole 0.404, and I can verify that if I make a dimensions from the back of my part to the first hole, and I use decimal dimension, so I have the same matching with the difference of the precision, which I can adjust. There you go. So this is a very way to, or a proper way to create layout. I need to do this not only with my sunshade brackets, I need to do it with all my shop use project shapes, for example, caps or steel bars. Obviously, as much more notches we have or holes we have, it's more complex to create the details layout. but it's very useful to work on it. Once that I'm done, I'm going to save it, close it, and then I'm going to rename it into my detail with the part name. W755696. So I can identify up for sure. Just close it. There you go. No, again. W755696. And there you go. So I have my first layout for this part. This concludes this video.